knew something was wrong with tucks up here this morning. It's because Stripe's right there, and they're kind of having a standoff. Let me see if I can rescue tucks. I got tucks down to the bottom of the hill, no problem. Hopefully he'll stay down there eating for 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, poor Tux. I guess he's the Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson of cats.
What's that?
Well, he wants to fight everyone he comes across. He wants to be on top. He wants to be the leader in the ring.
Yeah, he's definitely Mike Tyson because he likes to bite ears.
It's just Tom Turkey coming on for the morning. He's inflating. Yep, Tom Turkey's coming up. Mr. Don coming back with the paper. It's in the 40s here this morning.
Yes.
And it's calm, it's still, so.
Not very many leaves are down, so we must not have had much wind.
Wind last in the day. We got a break from the tree gods. Our buddy's doing good this morning. I don't want you to see the wound. It's just not pretty to look at, but he's energetic, eating, purring. You know, he's in a good mood. And a bottle of spray water so you can irrigate the wound without having to stick their neck underneath the faucet in the sink or the tub. And then a spray bottle of betadine. You're not supposed to use hydrogen peroxide. You're supposed to use this instead. And a couple of washcloths to sop up anything that runs off. He had opened it up scratching this morning, and so after he did that, I drained it, and I wanted to clean it again for him. He seems fine, so I'm not worried, but I sure am glad I went and got him the antibiotics because there was a lot more drainage this morning, and he, you know, that spot's very infected. So I totally think that he needed the antibiotics. It's taking care of my boy. And Veriflox is what the vet prescribed for antibiotic. It doesn't have to be refrigerated, made by Bayer. He's supposed to get 1.9 ml for 7 days, once a day. He took it fine last night. I have Johnny come in and squeeze his, or scratch on his butt where he's itchy. And while that distracts him, I get the stuff in his, give him the medicine with the little syringe, squirt bottle. So while Don and I were sleeping last night, actually, wow, Johnny built this. It's not using those pistons, but it is using, wow, it even keeps going if it turns over. That's great. I told him I think this would be a good SumoBot thing. You put a scoop in front. You can't use power functions, though. You have to use EV3 for our SumoBot. But I'm pretty, he's got a remote. So he's able to tell it, just like with the EV3 remote, he's able to tell it to use one motor or both motors, and that's why he's able to turn it. I'm pretty impressed with it, Johnny. Good job. Yeah, he's the one controlling it. We're starting off our holiday weekend. It's going to be 4 or 5 days of just kind of enjoying ourselves. And Don has a piece of that fruitcake from that Southern Supreme place. It's yummy. I may have a piece too.
It's very good.
So you were reading on Electrek this morning about a Tesla recall. Tell us about that.
Well, there's actually was two. One was the Model Y, something with the steering knuckle bolt that was loose. I couldn't find out exactly. It was only 417 or something over 400 Model Ys
that they feel were affected.
Right. And then the other recall was the larger recall. It's over 9,000 Model X's. The glass panels they glue on the roof would blow off. In other words, they in between the Falcon Wing doors, all that mechanism is you can't see through that. So they put this opaque black glass on top of that. And apparently, if it wasn't primered correctly, the adhesive doesn't stick well to the car, and that piece of glass comes off.
Yeah, that was news to Don because he doesn't read the Facebook Model X owners group, but I do, and I've seen people. I was riding down the road today, and this piece of glass flew off my car. Some people had to pay for it, so I'm assuming now that it's recalled that they'll be reimbursed. It's not an inexpensive piece of glass. The only, you know, it's decorative. You can drive your car if it comes off. Yeah. The problem is if it were to fly off and hit another car. That's really the concern with it. So I'm glad that they're going to go back and fix it. Hopefully they can get the piece of glass off and fix it without having to install new glass on every car. But I don't know if they're going to start with a brand new piece or they're just going to reapply the existing piece. Ruby's looks fine. Ruby is technically not in. Right. Ruby is technically not under the recall.
Not even close. That's right.
So that's good.
It was a very early model, basically the first Model X's for the first year.
Yeah, so I'm glad they're going to fix it because it looks ugly once it comes off, even, you know, and it was an expensive thing to replace. And it's not like those owners did anything to cause, didn't take care of their car or whatever. So that's good. And like Don said, he can't tell if Jules is affected by the recall or not, but he did check the Model Y recall. But he did check his email and doesn't have an email from Tesla. So I assume if we're affected, we'll be notified, and or we can always drop an email to the service center after the holiday and ask them if Jules is affected or not. So, and
since it's an official recall, it'll get published out at the NTSB.
Yeah,
I think it's in ntsb.gov/recall.
Yeah,
is where you just type in your VIN and it tells you all the recalls for your VIN.
Yeah, so we'll be able to figure it out. Yeah. But anyway, in Tesla news this morning. Don't like to hear about recalls, but on the other hand, if, you know, they handle it, then that's good too. So, and all manufacturers have recalls.
Right.
Frequent, all the time recalls.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm getting started on the cheesecake and pumpkin pie.
It's actually already smelling good in here.
Don doesn't actually prefer pumpkin pie, but
I prefer
the cheesecake,
non-vegetable pies.
Right, I love pumpkin pie, so I make it anyway, and Johnny likes it too.
I guess technically a pumpkin is a fruit. I always
Who knows?
It's like a squash.
Anyway, Don's going for his run. You know, if you're going to eat stuff you're not supposed to, you sure can't miss the daily exercise regimen. And Don, you did look on the NHTSA site about the recall for Model Y.
Right. Well, now, I don't know. I'll check again over the weekend, maybe, because it may not have gotten posted. They just announced the thing. You know, you can't expect it to be real time.
On a holiday weekend.
So I'll check it again. But right now, there are no recalls for my Model Y VIN, none.
Right. So at this time, doesn't affect us.
Sounds good.
So the first order of business, cook the pumpkins for the pumpkin pie. Well, it's actually one pie pumpkin that Dawn cut in half for me, so I didn't cut myself. And it cooks a lot like the spaghetti squash that we have in place. Well, spaghetti, like 45 minutes or something like that at 400. All right, my pumpkins are done roasting, I guess. I always put water in the bottom of the pan. I never scoop out the seeds in advance because I don't do anything with them. If you can push in with your finger or a spoon, if you can stick a fork through it, it's done. 30 to 40 minutes, you know, check it. Those are perfect. Yeah, I mean, unless you want to do stuff with the pumpkin seeds, which there's nothing wrong with that, I just choose not to. I don't understand why folks would work really hard when the pumpkin is raw to get the seeds out of there when that's how easy the seeds come out after you cook it. I just don't quite get it. I'm just taking the seeds out and I'm gonna try to detach the pumpkin from the shell, the skin again, so that it can cool a little quicker. So Johnny's here helping me. He just crushed the graham crackers for me for the cheesecake crust. I I added, that's 1 pack of graham crackers, 3 tablespoons of butter I'm getting ready to add, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I told Johnny we used a hammer inside the Ziploc bag to crush the graham crackers. I told Johnny that you want to tighten it and stir it around to evenly distribute the cinnamon and the sugar before you add the butter. Otherwise, your cinnamon could all be in a clump. Johnny's mixing the butter in. I'm trying one thing new. I've cut a piece of parchment paper to go in the bottom of the springform pan. I know it's non-stick, which I actually don't like. But the graham cracker gets really stuck in those little grooves that are in the bottom of these pans. And I also, that was somebody else's idea, but my idea is I left a little wing on the side. So when Don, because he will be the one to serve up the cheesecake, takes it out, he'll be able to peel that off the bottom of the graham cracker crust, and it should make it easier. So I froze the graham cracker crust while I finished up the cheesecake batter. I made a sling because I put it in the stainless steel, I don't know, trivet that goes underneath it that didn't have the handle. The handle one, this one, it's too close to the water that's in the bottom for my liking with a graham cracker crust. And you're supposed to sort of drape a piece of tin foil on top, which I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to cook the cheesecake. Don promised to be my runner.
Yeah.
So he's headed to the garage for egg stuff.
Yeah.
Don says I've missed the most important part. He's got the turkey trot shirt on, so he's my runner to the garage for all the stuff I need from that fridge and freezer.
Yeah,
thanks.
out there to get whatever
You trotted for me, huh? Thanks. So I put the pumpkin into the blender and I'm fixing to puree it. You gotta make it nice and smooth before you try to make a pie with it. If necessary, I'll add a tablespoon or 2 of water if it seems too thick. It's pretty moist though. One thing I don't do is homemade pie crusts. But there's the pumpkin pie. There's ready to go in the oven. I did taste check it. It's good. Shh. Don't tell the guys. But there was leftover pumpkin pie batter, and I turned it into ice cream mix, and we'll be having some ice cream after dinner tonight. Well, there's the cheesecake. I did put a toothpick in the center, and it seems like it's okay. There was a little water on top, and I used a paper towel to blot it off. Those pumpkin pies, they be looking mighty good. Now, the reason why I make all this stuff myself is I still am trying to stick to organic and as much real food as possible. No artificial anything, basically. I cheat on the pie crust, I admit it, but that's the only thing in the entire meal I pretty much don't make from scratch, including the cranberry sauce I'll be making tomorrow. Well, I did what I was supposed to do 3 hours ago, and I ran through everything I need for tomorrow.
Right.
I've been stressed for 2 weeks about not having something I needed, but I couldn't quite run everything down, so Dawn helped me. I need a lemon.
Yeah.
And I could probably, we only have heavy whipping cream. I could probably use some whole milk. Right. So we're headed to Food Lion. And then it may be Project Creep for some more whipping cream and some brown sugar. Right. And we'll just, anyway, he's going to drop me off at the door.
Yes.
It's spit out here, but the ground's not really wet. I'll get to spin my Pokestop while we're out too, since I didn't actually get out earlier today. Thank you, Donnie and Ruby. Opened my door for me. I like it.
I have to say, I really do miss the self-presenting doors. I tell you.
Well, it allows you to be such a gentleman. All right, they had everything I needed.
Jules has a software update. That's 2 in a row and Ruby hadn't had one. What the heck's up with that?
Early Christmas present.